Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look today at a interesting Pacific Division matchup between the Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings. Guys, this is a first-round matchup here that we have not seen. This is an interesting matchup between the Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings. Both these teams had pretty good seasons overall, right? They were able to make the postseason. There's some controversy, especially in the Pacific Division. How good is the Pacific Division? This is a matchup we've known about for a little while now, so these teams have kind of been able to placate what they're going to do. They've had some time to strategize who they're going to play against here. So here we go. So the Edmonton Oilers are one of those teams here that they were dominant in the season series, and that's kind of where we're going to start off today's video. They are 3-1 in their season matchup here, head-to-head with the Los Angeles Kings. The Los Angeles Kings struggled. They went 1-2-1 during their 4 games against the Oilers. Now, another interesting tidbit here. Both these teams, in terms of their goals for, top 10, number 7 in the NHL for the Edmonton Oilers, and the LA Kings have not been known for their goal-scoring prowess. I think that could be a problem for them in this series. Now, here's the interesting thing. The turning of the tide. The goals against the the LA Kings are number 9 in the NHL, which is top 10. And the Oilers are actually below average, 18th in the NHL in terms of their goals against. So they've given up goals. And there's a main reason to that, and we'll get to that in a second. Really what this matchup comes down to, you look at power play, penalty kills, all of that stuff. The main difference between these teams, Edmonton, much more offensive-minded. They score a lot of goals, but they also give up a lot of goals. Now, here's the thing. The Los Angeles Kings don't typically score a lot of goals. They aren't known for their scoring prowess. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see who wins the matchup. The more defensive team, or is it the explosive offensive Oilers? That is going to be something to look at here. Now, the problem here for the Oilers has been their goaltending. Their goaltending has been spotty. Mike Smith has been better here down the stretch. Mikko Koskinen's been okay, but nothing really great. And I think that is a problem for the Oilers. That's been their Achilles heel here for a couple of seasons, is the goaltending just shuts down. Their defense isn't that great, and I think that could prove to be a problem here in the first round. Now, you're looking at, in terms of where they sit in the standings, second and third in the NHL in their Pacific Division. The Oilers will have home ice advantage, sitting second in the Pacific, and the Kings will finish third in the Pacific, which means they will have 3 home dates if this does go to 7 games, while the Oilers will have 4 home dates during this series. Like I said, the Oilers have been dominant in the season series, so that is definitely an advantage for them. They've been pretty good on the special teams as well. Another edge to the Oilers, like I said. They're 3rd in the NHL for power play. Now, again, I've always talked about this. The whistles tend to go away in the Stanley Cup playoffs, so those 3 or 4 power plays you're getting, maybe give 1 or 2 power plays in that given game, especially in the third period late if it's a close game. But they are still 3rd in the NHL, and you could probably figure out why. It's because of Draisaitl and McDavid, because of just how electric they are, and you have the two of them passing the puck to each other. It's unfair. It's like watching a video game, right? And their penalty kill is 15th in the league, which is still pretty good. That is the issue here for the Kings. If it comes down to a late power play or penalty kill, that could prove to be a problem for them. Again, I don't mean it as much. I don't think it means as much in the playoffs, but it is something to consider when they're 26th in the NHL in power play and 23rd in the NHL in penalty kill. That is a little bit concerning, especially when you're going up against a very good power play in the Oilers. So that will be something to look at. Like I said, they score lots of goals, and their goaltending is suspect here for the Oilers. That is my bigger concern here. But that's kind of the same story for the LA Kings. I mean, Jonathan Quick's been pretty good, but he's had his moments. I mean, he had that goal a couple days ago where he went to try and take the puck off his stick to get a quick pass up, went right by him, like a bad goal against Anaheim. I mean, there's certain games like that where you just look like mentally maybe he's just not in the right spot. And I think there's going to be a lot of goals in this series. If I'm going to be honest, the goaltending has been spotty for both sides. The Kings' defense has definitely been better than the Oilers. But even the Kings, they've been without Edler. They were without Doughty for a lot of the season. They're without, who was their other guy? Sean Walker's out for the season. I mean, those are some really big guys that have been in and out of the lineup. So if the Kings are healthy and they've got their full defense, I say it's a little bit more of a match here, but they've got some tough injuries. They've lost some depth guys. And I think the Oilers just have the more superstar talent. And I think as bad as the Oilers' depth is, and I think they've taken a lot of heat for that, and kind of rightfully so, I just think the Oilers have more offensive prowess, and I think they'll be able to outscore the LA Kings. I don't normally like to say that come playoff time, but I'm going with the Oilers. I think the Oilers here, you've got the two jerseys. I mean, I like the Kings here. I like this jersey, the Stadium Series. I'm going with the Oilers, baby. I mean, listen, I think the Oilers have overall the better team here. I think they're going to win this thing in 6 games. But like I said, give credit to the Kings. They haven't made the postseason in a couple of years. It's been a rough stretch for them. But guys, I think the Oilers have the bling bling. I think they got the superstars. I think they have the mojo. And you know what? The Mike Smith situation, he's been better for them down the stretch. I think that will be enough for the Oilers to at the very least get past the first round. I'm going with the Edmonton Oilers in 6 games here. Let me know what you guys think, though, in the comment section down below. What do you think of this matchup between the Oilers and the Kings? Let me know who you think is going to win this series and how many games. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you again next time.